Greetings, my dear brothers and sisters. I am Stella Sherry from the Christ Ministries, India. I greet you in the matchless name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Today, we continue with the series on women in the Bible. I wish to introduce to you two characters here today, and they belong to the category of evil women in the Bible. Let us first study this character. Her name is Michal. Michal is recorded in the Bible in 1 Samuel chapter 14 and chapter 18, verses 20. What does the name Michal mean in Hebrew? It means who is like God or who resembles God. But you will see that as I tell about her character, there is no resemblance to God here. So let us study about Michal today. So, who was Michal? She was the younger daughter of King Saul, and she was given in marriage to David. And Michal loved David. So David, in fact, pays the price, the bride price, double the bride price asked by King Saul, which is 100 foreskins, Philistine foreskins, and he gets married to Michal. So Michal was very much in love with David, and we read also about her actions in 2 Samuel, that she helped David escape the wrath of King Saul, where Saul intends to kill David, and she helps David escape that by warning him and allowing him to escape and covering up for him. So, as a woman, she loved her husband, she loved David. And later on, we see in 2 Samuel, after a lot of time passes by, we read in 2 Samuel chapter 6, verses 16, that David brings the ark of the Lord back to the holy city. At that time, he dances in joy in front of the Lord. The ark is the presence of the Lord, and he worships the Lord, dancing and leaping and whirling. And Michal looks out from her window, and what she sees is somebody acting like a commoner. And so, in verses 20, we read that when King David comes back and greets his household, she expresses this to him, saying he acted like a base fellow. And she says, "Are you not ashamed of this?" And after that, in verse 21, we read that David, gives her a reply, a very humble reply. He says that, "It is the Lord who put me in this position. It is the Lord who appointed me as ruler, even before your father and all other people." So David is thanking the Lord here and attributes all his successes to the Lord. And he says one word, that I will dance before the Lord. So here, the joy of David, the love for his Lord is very evident. So he is not looking at his royalty, that he is king. These things do not affect him in any way. But you look at Michal, she is just the opposite. And verse 21, you see about Michal, it is written that she remained childless to her dying days. So, dear brothers and sisters, let us see what are the lessons we can learn from this character in the Bible. See, the first thing you can see that, what is it that Michal really loved? She loved royalty more than divinity. It is recorded she loved David. What did she love David for? She loved David for his heroic acts, for his acts of gallantry. As the world saw him as a hero and people were praising him, that is how she saw David. So she fell in love with him and she wanted to get married to him. She did not see the God of David there. She did not see the divinity about it. She was only focused on the royalty. You see that the second thing, what she did is, she valued the honor of men more than God. You see, she's thinking about what will people think if David as a king is dancing and exhibiting inappropriate behavior before all the people. So she's more worried about that. She's not thinking that it is the ark of the Lord coming back. It is the presence of the Lord. That is not her focus at all. So here this woman we see is honoring men more than God. And that is how she despises David. She is scornful of him. And that is her undoing. See, her true character comes out then. Until then, she is portrayed as someone who loves David, helps David escape, and is supportive. But when truly, when he is worshipping the Lord, you see her true nature comes out. And we see that the love she had for David was only a carnal love. There are many people like this in the world today, my dear brothers and sisters, who love what the world sees, as the world sees. And the third thing what we see in her is she had pride and she had a thankless heart. See, pride and thanklessness go hand in hand. When there is pride, then you become scornful, you tend to despise things. When does pride come in you? See, she was a daughter of Saul. Saul was made king, he was not born a king. So Saul was made king by the people of Israel. And she was brought up in all the way the royalty was brought up. So she loved that. And she loved her position. She loved her status. She loved the servants she had. She had all the things she wanted. She loved all of that. Sometimes in this world, there are many Michals, many sisters and brothers who are believers. They become Michals. What does it mean? It means the pride of this world can touch you. You may have pride in your educational status, in your social status, in the way you have a position in the society, the way you can influence others. Maybe you are a person who are occupying a top society. In your job you are having a high position. All that can build pride in you. This pride can make you scornful of others. It can be anybody. It can be within family. It can be outside with people whom you interact. You may think that, oh, they are not behaving appropriately, which according to you, you decide what is appropriate and inappropriate, standards set by the world. So you see, this is the same way how Michal believed. She believed that royalty should behave in a certain way. And David was the opposite of that. And so she despises him. And that is not the right conduct and character in the presence of the Lord. So what happens? In the end, you pay a price for being scornful, because David was a blessed man. So she had no thankfulness in her. She was scornful, and she did not understand the divinity which David worshipped. She did not understand the God whom David worshipped. So all in all, we can say she was a worldly person. There is another character in the Bible who is similar to this, a very scornful person. This person, I wish to introduce her name. It is Peninnah. We read about her in 1 Samuel chapter 1. Who was Peninnah? Peninnah was one of the wives of Elkanah. Elkanah had two wives. One was Peninnah and the other was Hannah. And this Peninnah had children. But she had no character and conduct of grace, because she used to make the other person sad. She used to rejoice at the misfortune of other people. Especially, she used to treat Hannah very badly. We read about it in chapter 1. So much so that she used to provoke Hannah. Hannah was barren. She used to provoke Hannah for her barren state, so much so that Hannah used to weep. See, It is wrong to rejoice at the misfortune of other people, because what you may see as misfortune for now, it may be barrenness, it may be sickness, it may be anything. What you may see as misfortune for now, it is a blessing for them. You look at Hannah. What did she do? She continued to pray in faith. And was she blessed? Hannah could have also fought with Peninnah. That's how the world works. But no, she didn't do that. She was sad, but all her grief she poured out to the Lord. And in faith she prayed. And was she blessed? Yes. Hannah was blessed many, many fold. Her first son Samuel, the great prophet, chosen by God. So you see, God had a mighty plan through Hannah, which unfortunately Peninnah never saw. She only saw that immediate state that, oh, my rival or my so and so, this person is in misfortune. And instead of sympathizing with her, instead of praying for her, or being with her, or being supportive, she acted the opposite. She was scornful of Hannah. So, my dear brothers and sisters, these are two women who are scornful. One is scornful of David because she thinks that her royalty, her royal lineage, her position is of more value. And the other person is again scornful because she thinks that she has borne children and she is a perfect wife. So, being scornful is not a character which comes from above. It is not a godly character. And when you become scornful, there is a punishment. Peninnah is not anymore mentioned anywhere in the Bible, but Hannah is always seen as an example of faith, as a blessed woman. She bore many more children, 5 children she bore after that. So you see how well she was blessed for her persistence, for her prayer in faith. But Peninnah is not anymore mentioned, nor anything is mentioned about her children. My dear brothers and sisters, what can we learn from this? Sometimes it is very easy to become scornful because we are carried over by the world. But always think, if you are thankful and if you are humble, then you can be away from this nature of being scornful. It is written in the Bible, in Psalms 1 verses 1, that blessed is the man who does not seat himself with the scornful. That means what? If you sit with scornful people and scorn others, make a mockery of others or despise others, you are not going to be blessed. You are not going to be blessed. So do not be scornful at all of anyone or at anyone's misfortune, because for them that misfortune is a blessing which we do not see with our worldly eyes. Proverbs 3:34 very clearly says, surely he scorns the scornful. Imagine, you are scornful to somebody, and if the Lord above is scornful to you, my dear brothers and sisters, you cannot survive anymore. And finally, how can we not be scornful? Be humble. Pray for the grace of humility. The grace of humility is what will make you humble. And then surely blessing will follow. So, my dear brothers and sisters, today may these words bless you. May you be filled with the grace to be humble. And may Yeshua HaMashiach bless you with these words. Amen.